हरि ओम। ओ ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। Bhagwan is teaching Arjuna the path of Karma Yoga. So we have to perform our karma according to our duties, dedicating them to Ishvara. That will help us to purify our antakarana and make us fit to gain knowledge of the self and become free. So our kartavya karma is determined by our swabhav, and based on our swabhav we are born with certain predominant gunas, and based on these gunas we are broadly classified into 4 groups: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and we have our respective karma which is best suited for us. So that is what is being analyzed here in these verses. So in the verse number 40, Bhagavan says that there is no one in this world nor in any other world who is free from the 3 gunas. So all of us are, means our upadhis are made up of these 3 gunas, expression of this prakriti in the form of these 3 gunas. And the 3 gunas have, the signs of these 3 gunas are seen on the body, on our senses, in our mind, our intellect. So our nature of our upadhis depends on the proportion of the gunas. And if we want to, when we want to work, we have to work based on the quality of the upadhis. Because taking the help of the upadhis only, we have to work. Atma is not the doer. Atma is not having any gunas. It is nirguna. Atma is not classified as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Atma is beyond all classification, beyond all gunas. But when we are identified with these upadhis which are made up of the gunas, then we have to take into account the nature of these upadhis when we are working. Just as suppose you want to use some material in this world for any project, then we have to check the quality of that material. And that material alone of a particular quality is useful. For example, when they wanted to find a material to be used as a wire in the light bulb, so when it was discovered, they tried to use different material, and finally they found out that only tungsten was most suitable to be used as a wire in this light bulb. So every metal, every element, every material, every molecule have their own feature, own properties. And when one knows these properties, we can utilize them to the best of our ability. It's just like when we cook. In our kitchen, we have those different masalas, and we know the nature, a good cook knows the nature of all these masalas. Red chili powder is there, or haldi is there, or namak is there, jeera is there, rai is there, garam masala is there. So the good cook knows that if I add this in this sabji, what will be the taste? If I add this, what will be the thing? So depending on the taste and the quality of the food which we want, we use the masalas. Because they are all different. They have their own specific properties. Similarly, all human beings, our upadhis are different. Though all our upadhis are made from the same prakriti, and the prakriti alone does all the work, but the expression of prakriti is different in different beings. And the expression is calculated based on the gunas. So the sattva gun, rajogun, tamagun, their combination permutations are different. Just like we have color. We have so many different variety of colors which we can see with our eyes. But there are basic only 2-3 colors. And when these 3 colors are combined in different proportions, we get a new color. But basics are the 3 colors. Similarly, the basic gunas are 3, sattva gun, rajogun, tamogun. Their combination, permutation gives rise to the different colored beings as though. So all of us are of different nature. But broadly, we are classified into 4 groups. This is a very broad classification. Because within this group also there are so many varieties are there. So the Shastras, for easy maintenance and easy functioning of the society, has classified all human beings into 4 groups: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Also the genders, Stri, Purush. And the different age, and based on the age, the different ashramas are there. In the beginning, the Brahmacharya ashram, then Grahastha ashram, Vanprastha ashram, and Sannyasa ashram. And the whole purpose of living in this world, and the whole idea behind all the work which we do, and the whole philosophy behind the society, and all the things which we do, the main aim and goal of the Shastra, who has formulated this structure, is to lead the entire humanity towards the ultimate goal of moksha. Because that is what we really want, that is what everyone desires, that is what is good for everyone. Because it is everlasting happiness, eternal happiness. That is what everyone should attain. Because the life on earth is temporary. Whatever we gain in this earth is temporary. Even if we gain lots of wealth or position, name, fame, we have to live and go. And again we are back in samsara. Or even if we go to some other loka, those lokas are also temporary. So the only good thing which we can attain is when we attain that moksha. So that is the agenda in the mind of the Shastras. So based on that, the whole social structure is formed. And based on the gunas, when we work, then it is best for us. So Brahman has got this more sattva gun, means he is sattva pradhan. So a Brahman has got the capacity natural capacity of his body, mind, senses to gain knowledge, to also share knowledge, to follow the subtler path shown by the Shastras, to perform the various yajnas and yagas and also by heart the Vedas and keep the knowledge, protect that knowledge, hmm? Because it is protected in our heart only, not in some books or not in some internet or something. The knowledge is protected in a living being. So this capacity is there in a person who is sattva pradhan. So he is given this job that you protect the Vedas and you pursue this spiritual path sincerely and share this knowledge with others, and formulate whatever laws, rules which is required according to the changing times and situations, and also can work in the legislative and also the judiciary. So this is the most suitable work for a Brahmana. Then for a Kshatriya has Rajogun predominant, but also is backed by lots of Sattva-gun. So because of this, because of the Rajogun, he has got lot of energy, lot of strength, lot of bravery, lot of courage, and because of that Sattva gun, is a very large heart, very generous, loving, kind, sacrificing. So Kshatriya is most suitable for the work of executing, protecting the society, taking care of the law and order, governing, and all those type of work. Because of his bravery, courage, he will not hesitate to sacrifice his life to protect others, to protect the country. So he's a most amazing personality. The combination of Rajogun and Sattvagun is quite stunning and amazing. So he's like a peaceful warrior, like strong, powerful, generous. So if he works according to his nature, that is best. Then we have those who have Rajogun, but is backed by Tamogun. So Sattvagun is not so prominent. Rajogun is there, but it is associated with Tamogun. So though energy and strength is there, but due to the Tamogun, little bit lethargy, selfishness, and lack of proper broad understanding is there. But because of that Rajogun has got this very creative ability, has got the power to produce, to create. So they are very much suited to bring out wealth from this earth. See, this earth is very wealthy. Earth can take care of all the beings for a long, long time to come. We have so much of wealth on earth that there is no need to go to other planets also. No doubt we can go and see what is happening there. But earth can sustain all beings for billions of years. That much of wealth is there. But it has to be produced. It has to be brought out. So one of the main thing which we require to sustain our life is food, crops. So this Vaishya, who has got this Rajogun and Tamogun, has got the ability to bring out that wealth of food from the earth by tilling, agriculture, trees, crops. It's most amazing. We can bring out so much of food from this earth that no beings, not only human beings, but no other beings also need to go hungry. That much of capacity is there on earth. in this earth. Then not only tilling the soil, but also what is required is protecting the wealth or those sources which help us in tilling the soil, like the cows, the bulls. So Go Raksha is also a very important factor of a Vaishya. And Go Raksha also means protecting the wealth. So banking and protecting that wealth, and also trade. So buying and selling the products in the world. So the main, actually all the wealth used to be generally with the hands, in the hands of the Vaishya. See, the Brahmans, they used to get they get their wealth, they get their money through dakshinas. They are so involved in their duty of taking care of the protecting the Vedas and doing their sadhanas and teaching these shastras to others, that they don't have time to go and do any other work. So they were taken care of by the government as well as by other people by giving them dakshina. Then the kshatriyas is to take care of their own livelihood and all those who are working under them and all through the taxes which they used to collect from the society. So the tax, they can tax the society and collect the money to maintain the society itself, for governance and for protection, etc. Then the Vaishyas should create their own wealth. They will produce these crops and they will create their own wealth. They need not go here and there to ask for money. And the Shudras, they used to provide all the services. All the services, because we require so many services for our livelihood. So all services, we require clothes, so tailor is required. We require shoes, so a person to make our shoes required. We require things in the kitchen, we require things in our house, so many things. So all the services were provided by the one who Shudra, who has got this tamogun, have a little bit of rajogun and sattvagun, and very good in serving and creating this various service. So this is the structure. Then the woman, they also hand in hand with their own family members, with their husbands, with their children, they also play an active role in maintaining the order in the society, in the homes, in the society, according to their own capacity and power. And each one, if we do our work according to our own varnashrama, the whole balance of the society is maintained. This is the general scheme. When things go little wrong, then the whole structure of the society gets shaken up. Just an example I will give. It is said in the Shastra, in the Manusmriti and all, that in Kali Yuga, the machines will take over, and the machines, when they come, they will disturb the balance of the whole society. Mahayantra Pravartanam, like that Manu has mentioned, Manuji has mentioned in the Manusmriti. Mahayantra Pravartanam. The great machines will come and take over the lot of work and create lot of disturbance in the balance of the society. So just to give an example, let us say some fishermen are there living in a small village, and they have their little boats, and they have their little that net. So they go and do some fishing, catch some fish, nice fresh fish, then bring it to the market and sell it to the people. Huh? So the whole village is quite happy. They get fresh fish, and everyone is happy. Okay, I'm just giving one example of fishing. Then there is one person who is very intelligent, who has got Sattvagun Pradhan, who is a Brahman by nature, huh? Who has got the capacity to really pursue and understand the Shastras and pursue the spiritual path, and not only bless himself but bless the world around. But because of the society and because of whatever the conditions nowadays, he goes and doesn't care for the Vedic studies, and has done some MBA and all, and then he comes to that village and he sees the whole situation. Then he goes and buys a big trawler to catch fish, and the laws and all are such that they don't understand the whole structure of the society. The lawmakers don't have the understanding of the Vedas. So the laws permits him that you can buy a big trawler. So he buys a big trawler, hires some workers, and then he goes into the sea and he starts fishing using that heavy machinery. He can go to deep sea and catch fish. See, a lot of these fish, they migrate from one place to another, and young fish, they go from one place to another. And when they grow old, they come on the shore and all, where it becomes easier for the fishermen to catch them. But because of these trolleys and all, these fisher people, they go deep into the sea, catch those young fish. Lots of them come and sell in the market at a cheaper rate. So slowly the work of this small fisherman gets disturbed. Nobody wants to buy costly fish from them, so they lose their job. When they lose their job, they don't have any other job, because traditionally they were doing this fishing job, so they don't get any job. So youngsters, they feel very restless. Then they decide to leave their village and go to the city. And city, they try to find some job here and there, and they get some labor job here, there, somewhere, because they are not well educated also. They work in someone's house as a servant. They work in some field somewhere, in some factory. They have poor living condition. They are treated badly, and the whole life gets disturbed. Some of them go into crime and things. So everyone wants to migrate to the cities. The cities are developing like anything, using heavy machineries. All the natural things which were done by people are slowly given to the machines. In the homes also, people used to cook. Now the factories are cooking, and we can order food online. You just place an order and the hot pizza comes at your doorstep. So everything is outsourced. All the family duties are outsourced. Even the raising children are outsourced. Even pregnancy is outsourced. Everything is hired. So the machines have taken over. Machines are doing job of everyone. Everything is getting replaced. So this one thing is that if machines take over, that also creates disturbance. Also, if a Brahman tries to do the work of a Shudra, then that also creates disturbance in the society. And that's what is happening nowadays, that everyone wants to do the job of those who were Shudras. So everyone wants to be in the service department only. So, based on your services, you get the pay. The Vaishyas, they could create their own wealth. The Kshatriyas, they used to get the wealth from the taxes. And the Brahman, they used to get the wealth from the Dakshinas and all. And the whole structure was very well placed, but it has, at present actually, it has undergone tremendous change. A lot of things have come. It is also said in our Shastras that the poorest of people, the lowest of people should be taken care of properly, and they should be happy. If the lowest of person is happy in the society, and also if a woman is happy in a society, in a family, then that society is good. If woman, for whatever reason, is not happy in her home or in the society, and if a simple person, a laborer, is not happy for whatever reason, then the society is not functioning properly. Then somebody is not doing their work properly. Then there are those who are getting corrupt at various levels. It is just like, as I said, like our body. In our body also, we have our head, we have our arms, we have our stomach, we have our feet. All of them, they have their own specific role. In the Shastra, it is said that from that one universal person only, all these four varnas have come. Brahmano osya mukhamasit, bahura janyakritaha, uru tadasya yad vaishyah, padbhyagam shudro ajayata. From the head, the Brahmanas, they emerged. From the arms, the Kshatriyas. From the thighs and the middle portion, the Vaishya. And from the feet, the Shudra. So all these limbs in a person is required. We want our head should be salamat. If our eyes, our nose, our skin, our ears, if our mind is not functioning properly, then we will not be able to survive. So if there is some danger, let us say some weapon or some stone or something comes near your face, about to hit you, what do? Immediately the hands come to protect. The hands are the Kshatriyas in our body. They will not care for their own safety also, but they will safeguard the face, they will safeguard other portion of the body, irrespective of the situation they will come out. So they are used for defense and according to the situation for offense also. That is the natural. So the arms are there, and in that same line of that arm is their heart. So a Kshatriya has got a long arms and a very large heart. He is the kindest and the most loving and most compassionate person by nature. Brahmana has got the knowledge. Vaishya has got the capacity to produce, to create wealth. And Shudra has got the capacity to move the whole society forward. to create different services so that everyone's life becomes comfortable and the society moves forward. The movement is provided in a society by the Shudra, the wealth is provided by the Vaishya, the protection is provided by the Kshatriyas, and that wisdom is provided by the Brahmanas. So this is the general structure of our society, and if we understand our role and just fulfill that role properly, then it will be beneficial for us, beneficial for the society, and we will progress on our spiritual path. A Brahman, when he does his own duty, dedicating to Ishvara, his antakarana also becomes pure and he becomes fit for Atmajnana. A Kshatriya, when he does his duty, his antakarana also becomes fit and he becomes fit for Atmajnana. A Shudra and a Vaishya also, when they do their respective karmas, dedicating to Ishvara, the antakarana becomes pure and they become fit to gain self-knowledge. A woman also, when she does her duties properly, dedicating to Ishvara, becomes fit to gain self-knowledge. In our Shastra and the Vedas and all, the mention of such great saints, such great rishis, even women who were very advanced in their spiritual path, and they used to debate with other men. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a description of Gargi also, who had a debate with Yajnavalkya Rishi. Yajnavalkya is one of the topmost rishis mentioned, and Gargi had a debate with Yajnavalkya also. So like that, this structure is there, which has to be understood properly, and we have to follow it as much as we can. I am mentioning this so much because of wrong prachar in the society by so many people who have vested interest. There is a lot of misunderstanding about this varnashrama dharma. So, with this little background, let us see what Bhagavan says about the karmas which are most suitable for a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So, let us chant verse number 42. Shamo damastapa shaucham kshantirarjavamev cha jnanam vijnanamastikyam brahma karma svabhavajam. Bhagavan says that brahma karma svabhavajam, for a person who is born Brahman, means who is born with this predominant sattva gun, who is by nature sattvic. For such a person, this work is most suitable. Here Bhagavan is giving just a hint of it. Lot is there mentioned in the Shastras. So, what is most suitable work for a Brahman? Brahma karma svabhavajam, which is born from his svabha. Svabha, as I said, is based on our karmas which we have done in our past. We have certain samskar, and with that samskar, when we die, based on those karmas, we are born with a particular predominant gunas. So our karmas and samskar influence the gunas when we are born. So we are born with certain gunas based on the karmas which we have done in our past life. So a person who is Brahmana is born with a sattva pradhan. So he is naturally inclined by swabhav to to pursue the path of knowledge only, because that is the very nature of this sattva guna. Sattva guna is of the nature of when sattva guna is predominant, one gets inclined towards knowledge and is also experiences inner joy. So when a person is deeply happy, when there is that prasada, natural prasad is there, when that sattvic happiness is there, one will not strive to pursue some other things. See, we run after the world, we run after objects and name, fame in the world, because we are not very happy within. And we don't know, we think that happiness is outside, so we run after things. But a person who is having sattva pradhan will experience that happiness within and will not have this desire that I should seek happiness outside. He's quite comfortable with his own life, with his own. He may not have wealth, he may not have a lot of prosperity. See, in our Shastra, whenever they talk about the Brahmin, they will always say that, oh, a poor Brahmin staying in some village and all those things. Brahman was never associated with a lot of wealth or position, name, fame, because he is satisfied in his own inner self. So for such a person, Bhagavan says, these karmas are quite suitable, that is shama, to further quieten his mind. Shama means quietude of the mind, control over the mind. He works towards making the mind more and more calm and peaceful. Shamaha it is called. Then damaha, control over the senses, control over the karmendriyas as well as the jnanendriyas. A Brahman will have or work towards controlling his tongue, controlling his hands, legs, controlling all his organs. That's called dhamma. Will not get provoked, will not use bad words, will not use force or violence, will have total control over his activity, his thinking. That's a dhamma, a very beautiful quality which we have seen even in the Daivi Sampatti and all. So shamo dhamma tapaha, he will be more inclined to do tapas, the sharirik tapa, the mansik tapa, the vachik tapa, which we have seen in the 17th chapter. So this will be a natural swabhavik karma for a person who is Brahman by nature. Will do the seva of the sharirik tapas, Deva Dvija Guru Pradnya, Pujanam, Shaucham, Arjavam, all this will be there in a Brahmana. So sharirik, vachik, mansik tapas. Then shaucham, cleanliness. Cleanliness not only of his surrounding, not only of his body and clothes and all, but cleanliness of his speech, cleanliness of his thinking and emotions, cleanliness of his interaction with the world, of his relationship, of his vyavahar, everything will be clean. Shaucha. He will practice shaucha at all levels. Then kshanti. Kshanti means kshama, forgiveness. This is also a natural quality of a Brahmana, that will have a very forgiving nature, that even when harmed or hurt by others, will not have any ill feeling towards anyone, will be forgiving. That doesn't mean one should harm the Brahmanas, but will be very forgiving. And the Shastras also say that if the Brahman becomes unhappy and if he says something, if he curses, then that will also come true. And if he says something good, if he blesses, then that will also come true. So the Brahmana's curse is to be most frightening thing for everyone. Even Yamrajji was frightened. When Nachiketa entered the Swargalok, when Nachiketa was waiting for Yamraj to come, the story is there in Kathopanishad, so Yamraj was away. So after 3 days when he came back, he came to know that a young Brahman boy is waiting for him. And he has not even drunk water. He is waiting for him. So he was very scared. Yamrajji was scared. He came, he did namaskar, he asked for forgiveness. He gave him water and he says, please forgive me, I was not here. I was away, I could not welcome you, I could not take care of you. So as a compensation, I will give you 3 boons. You ask for anything and I will give you. But please bless me and bless my family. So that is the power of a Brahmana. So kshamo damat tapashaucham kshantihi arjavam. Arjavam, straightforwardness. See, even in Ramayana we have story of Sri Ram. He was born in a Kshatriya Vamsha. This is Bhagwan's avatar only. And Bhagwan's another avatar was born in a Brahmana during his time, that is Parshuram. But due to the situation in the society, though he was a Brahmana, he had to take weapon in his hand. He had to set things right because the Kshatriyas had gone little bonkers. So to create order in the society, though Bhagwan was born as a Brahmana, he took a weapon in his hand and he went about killing all those arrogant Kshatriyas. And finally he came in front of Sri Ram. And he was so angry that Ramchandraji broke the bow of Shiva, not recognizing Ram. He was ready to fight with him. He said, you pick up your weapon and fight with me. And Bhagwan Ramchandraji was doing namaskar to him again and again and referring him as a Brahmana. He says, you are a Brahman. How can I fight with you? I am only a Kshatriya. My job is to protect you, to take care of everyone. How can I fight with you? I will kill you. He says, okay, even if you kill me, it doesn't matter. But I can't fight with you. You are most worshipful. And finally Parshuramji realized that is Bhagwan's avatar as Sri Ram. Then he gave up his weapon and went to do tapas. So shamo damas tapashaucham kshantihi, forgiveness, arjavam, straightforwardness. A person with a Brahmana vritti, with sattva gun pradhan, will be very straightforward, will not be cunning, will not be cruel, will not be shrewd, will not be calculating, manipulating, will be very saral, like a child. Arjavam. Then jnanam, will be inclined to gain knowledge. See, the sattva gun is so very amazing that a person is capable of understanding what the Shastras are saying and also understanding what the world in front, they can comprehend the subtlest phenomena happening in the world. So many amazing things are given in our Shastras and so many amazing texts are written by great scholars in every field. See, if you really go into the history of our country and the amazing books and literature which is there in every field. In the field of science, in the field of medicines, even surgeries and all used to be done in the good old days. In the field of weaponaries, the field of astronomy, astrology, in mathematics, in every field you will find great minds have revealed the secrets of world the most amazing way. Who were they? They were the Brahmans. They were the one having that sattva gun, having the capacity to understand. This capacity is there, but people are wasting it in other field. The Brahmanas are more interested in power and politics, or they are interested in earning wealth and accumulating wealth and indulging in banking and other things. Or in the service industry, they go into the service industries. They want to take away the job of others, and their capacity is lost. The capacity is lost. It's like you have a, let us say, if you have a nice, iPad, but instead of using it for whatever purpose, you use it to cut vegetables. You can cut vegetables on it, no doubt. It can be used very effectively to cut your onions and all on the iPad. It's a nice, smooth. But that will not be the right use of it. Similarly, a person who has got these Brahman qualities and he uses his all capacity to go into fishery business or in other things, that is not the best use of that quality. He will not only disturb the livelihood of others, but also degrade himself. So jnanam, vijnanam. Vijnanam means the capacity to actually experience what the Shastras are saying. They can pursue that path and experience what is said. Follow the path of niridhyasan and actually comprehend and experience what the scriptures are saying. And they also have this astikya, great faith and trust in the Shastras and in their teacher. See here, in this all this work, Bhagavan nowhere said that you do this and then get to earn money and all. There's no question of earning money, because the Brahmana, when he pursues all this path, he was taken care of by the generosity of the society and also by the government. Government is to take care of the ashramas and all. And people is to give dakshina to the Brahmanas who were busy, involved in their own work and all. Even this in our Mahabharata, the Dronacharya, a Brahmana, but somehow he got involved with this, in this Kauravas and all, and took up this arms and totally changed his profession altogether. But by nature is Brahmana, and a very poor Brahman. And when he was, even his son, Ashwathama, when he was a little boy, living in a very poor condition. So they have this capacity to pursue this path of spirituality and also acquire not only spiritual knowledge but worldly knowledge also, and share it with everyone. Capacity to share. So jnanam, vijnanam, astikyam, brahma karma swabhavajam. This is a swabhavik karma for a Brahmana. Means if a person is Brahmana and if he does this work, it will be well in tune with his nature, that he will progress on his karma yoga path and thereafter gain that self knowledge and become free. Then Bhagwan talks about the Kshatriyas. He says in the next verse, Shauryam tejo dhratir daksham yuddhe chapya palayanam danam ishvara bhavascha kshatra karma swabhavajam. Bhagwan says this is kshatra karma swabhavajam. This is the karma for a kshatriya. See here, important point is Bhagwan saying those who are kshatriyas, for them this is the karma. Those who are brahmana, for them this is the karma. He doesn't say that if you do this karma, you are a kshatriya. If you do this karma, you are a brahman. No. We have to first recognize our varna properly. And based on that, we should do our work. If our varna is brahmana, we might be very good in doing the work of a kshatriya or a shudra or a vaishya also, but that should not be done. We should do work according to our varna only. That is good for us and that is good for the society. The society should also know and should be clear that you are this and this is your work. Should not be any confusion in the minds of the society also. For example, if I see a doctor, I know that doctor's job is to take care of my health and this and that. But if the doctor has got ulterior motive, is doing that as a business to earn money, then there is a confusion in the whole thing. Conflict of interest happens. So, a kshatriya by nature has got this capacity, he has got this expression, and it is good for him to pursue this field, go on this path. So, what is his nature? His shauryam, he is very brave. Kshatriya by nature is very brave. He's not afraid of death, not afraid of pain, not afraid of any hardship. And we find in the society also there are people who are traditionally from the Kshatriya Vamsha. They express so much of bravery in every field wherever they are, even in the army and in the police force, in the government, in various fields we see them. They are not afraid to sacrifice their life also to protect others. And they are brave. They go forward in spite of whatever the situation, whoever the enemies, they will just march forward. So Shaurya is there by nature. And they have a special teja, a brilliance. So Shaurya, teja, dhriti, daksham, yuddhecha apalayanam, danam, ishvara bhavascha, kshatra karma swabhavajam. More about this we will see in our class tomorrow. So till then you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, contemplate, think about all this. Think about all this. Understand the beauty of your own culture, your own heritage, your own tradition. Understand the beauty of our Shastras. They are very encompassing, they are very generous, and they are meant for the welfare of everyone. So we shall meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. श्री राम जय जय राम, 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 जय जय राम। बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।